we have a little... Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be working on the Durango once again. So she is getting very close, but I want to get her started in this video. Before we start the video, I'm going to shout out buymoparparts.com. I'll have the link in the description. Also, I'm going to put their phone number in the description just so it's a little bit easier to contact them on these Hellcat specific parts because they're all VIN specific. So you need to call them. It's a lot easier. You'll have to talk to my guy, Ken Jr., and pretty much everything that you guys need is very, very cheap. So the dealerships that you go to in your town, these are going to be a lot cheaper, and we're in Colorado, so it's a lot more centrally located. Unlike the dealership in New York, where everything had to come from the East Coast, Colorado is more in the center of the country. So if you're in California or if you're close to Colorado, it'll be a lot cheaper to ship. Like I said before, if you're on the other side of the Mississippi, I'll also put the link for the dealership there because it'll be a lot cheaper on the East Coast to get those parts from that dealership. But they're both really cheap, and I'm really happy that they got me these parts. So I have the ABS pump module, and we'll go through the rest of the parts that came. So let's get to work and get this thing hopefully started because we have the new ABS pump module, and I can't wait to hear her. Here are all the parts that I got from the Mopar dealership, and they are awesome. I mean, some of these were supposed to be 5 to 7 days out, and luckily enough, they came in 3 days. So we have the main radiator, and I'm happy that this thing has new rubber grommets on it. Then we have the tranny and AC condenser, and it's just nice to have this because then I don't have to loop that tranny line. The only thing I can't do is, I don't have the fan, I don't have the crank pulley. I did get a new serpentine belt, but I'm waiting on the ATI damper, so I can't put the serpentine belt or the supercharger belt, but we should be able to start the vehicle in this episode. So I also was able to get the ABS pump module right here. We have some coolant. I have the upper radiator hose. We can get pretty much all this stuff buttoned up and ready to go. And then I'll be able to put the fan on, put the supercharger cooler on later. I'll just have to remove the crash bar. It's 4 bolts, not a big deal. And the AC fan, or the radiator fan, just slips and clicks in. Pretty much all this stuff just clicks together. Just replaced the ABS pump module, and right after I pulled it off, I was like, yeah, this is most likely why it wasn't starting. So there is that little hole, but there is a lot of stuff in there. So yeah, new one's on. Let's fire up. Fire up, but just for a second because the supercharger is disconnected. There's no crank pulley on it. I just want to hear if she sounds okay. So let's get under this headliner. In here. Hopefully we have a little... Woo! Sounds good! Hell yeah, boys! Hell yeah! No supercharger sounds, but woo! Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. Oh man, that was kind of a scary feeling because it, it doesn't have that supercharger sound. It doesn't sound really super mean, but man, she purred like a kitten. So I can't wait to get that crank pulley. I'll put the radiators and everything on. I also ordered the sensors for, these sensors on the side that I thought were for the airbag were actually for the active dampening for the suspension. So I ordered those. I'll put those on when they come, and they'll probably come when the outer coolant supercharger cooler comes, as well as the fan. So, and probably by then we'll have the crank pulley, and then we can take it for its first test drive. Finished pulling the quarter panel off of, or the whole side off of the Durango, and lo and behold, the Dodge dealership just dropped off a bunch of parts for the charger and the radiator fan and the last cooler for the Durango, as well as the suspension sensors, or the active dampening suspension sensors that go on the frame rails that I thought were the airbag sensors. So we'll get those on there, get the radiator fan and the cooler for the supercharger. And then I also got some more ducts, and I got the correct duct for the intake. So I'm really happy. I think both of these are really what I needed, and I'm gonna start, well, when I go home I'll put that on. But yeah, let's get the fan, get that other cooler on, we'll get those sensors on, and I'm still waiting for the crank pulley. So once the crank pulley comes, we could drive this thing. I'm really excited to drive it. quarter panel on the Durango is now removed, and as you can see, I didn't remove just the quarter panel, I removed the whole side of the car. And like I said before, the reason I did that, the upper rail was damaged so far forward, sectioning it in really didn't make sense. And then if I would have sectioned it in, there would have been, you know, I would have had to section it there, cut it there, and then welded all that back together, which to me, it's kind of a shoddy repair. Body shops do it all the time, but they don't take the time to remove the whole side, and you can't get the whole side of a car from the factory. So if you buy a quarter panel, it's just going to be this section, and pretty much it will end probably about right here, and then probably about right here. And I would have needed more than that there, and I also would have needed that rail up there, which I probably couldn't have got. So the best thing that could have happened was me finding a Durango at the junkyard, which I did. Now I just have to drill all the spot welds out of that. So as you saw when I removed this quarter panel, I wasn't very gentle with it. On the other quarter panel, I'm going to drill the spot welds all the way through, which will make it release really nice, and it won't damage it at all, because that was already damaged. Really didn't care about it. But I'm really happy that this quarter panel is now removed, because you can see the additional damage, which to me, it isn't that much. So it didn't really get back here into this inner structure, which is really nice. Over here, you can see there's a dent right here, and then this is pushed in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if my friend will pull these, pull this, pull that, and then pull this upper rail out. And if not, but as you can see, this upper rail is tucked under this super high strength steel. And this goes all the way. See, this is the part where you section it in, this line. They give you a nice line to where to cut it. But I think what I'll have to do is just pull this out. You can see it has a little bit of a curve to it, and I think we'll be able to get everything pretty much 100% where it needs to be. And the quarter panel will just sit right on it, and then we'll just spot weld it, or not spot weld it, but plug weld everything back in. And as you can see, this is unaffected, and this is really barely affected right there. So I think straightening it will be the best, you know, the best plan of attack. And then you can see that this is unaffected, and it just has a dent here like I showed you before. But it's just crazy seeing a car like this. So I'm really happy that I finally got this done, because now I have to drill the spot welds out of the other one, but it's just really relieving to see that there isn't as much damage as I guess a lot of people thought, because not very many people bid on this thing at the auction. But I'm gonna end the video here. If you like these videos, make sure to click that subscribe button, throw a thumbs up, throw a comment below, share it with your friends if you haven't, and as always, see you guys next time.